Hello there. My name is Joel Friedrich. I'm an associate professor at Akita International University, and I am in the English for Academic Purposes program. Welcome to this on-demand video lesson for AIU's Open Campus celebration. Um, Today's lesson is going to be called The Animal Inside, using extended metaphor for self-expression. So I am a teacher of writing, and I teach creative writing, which means that we study poems and stories and literature, and we practice writing our own self-expressive literature. In my classes, students write poems to express themselves. They write stories to show their experiences. And one technique we use is called extended metaphor. First of all, I would like to make sure that you can access this document yourself at home. And I really hope you will. I hope you will use this QR code to find this very word, this very Google document that I am showing you on the screen, because if you copy and paste this Google document into your own document, you can type on it. We are going to do some writing in this lesson. This is an interactive lesson where you yourself will be invited to do some writing. And I think it would be helpful if you had this document on your computer that you could use and actually type in. And you can do that if you access the document first and then copy it and create a new document where you can actually type. I like to imagine our class like this. Everyone is on their feet. Everyone is talking and writing and having a nice time learning together. At AIU, especially in the English for Academic Purposes program, we really emphasize active learning, active learning. And that means doing things, not just listening to a lecture, not just taking notes, but actually creating things together with the others in the class. So that's why I wanted to show you this. And again, that's why I hope you will access this document and copy it so that you can make your own words on the screen. Uh, Today, we're going to be talking about metaphors and similes. You might know about metaphors. A metaphor is simply comparing something abstract, like love, to something that we can touch, taste, smell. Uh, and so love is like a rose, or we could say love is a rose, and that's a metaphor. If we say like a rose, then it's a simile. So a metaphor is a comparison between something abstract and something more physical, like a body we can touch. And an extended metaphor is when we use one metaphor to do a lot of thinking and writing. For example, if I think about myself, if I want to create a self-portrait, a picture of myself, but I want to make a metaphor, I want to think about what kind of animal would be the best animal to represent me, my personality, my character, my emotions. Would it be a dog, a friendly dog? I could say, I am a puppy. I like to roll and play. I like to jump. Or it could be a cloud. That's not an animal. Or it could be a snake. Ooh, I am a little scary today. I like to hide in the grass. I like to roll out into the sunshine. So that's an extended metaphor where we think about comparing maybe ourselves to an animal and writing a whole poem or a whole story about it. So that's what we're going to do in class today is look at an extended metaphor to create a self-portrait in order to express complex feelings. Okay? And here is an example that I wanted to show you. It's by a writer that I really like, a poet from America named Donald Hall. And he created a portrait of himself as a bear. Okay? And here's the poem. Self-portrait as a bear. Here is a fat animal, a bear. He walks at the edge of the city, smiling and eating flowers. He eats them because he loves them, because they are beautiful. It is eating flowers that makes him so fat. He carries his huge stomach over the gutters of damp leaves in the parking lots in October. But inside his stomach, he knows there are fields of lupine and meadows of mustard and poppy. He encloses sunshine. Winds bend the flowers in combers across the valley. Birds hang on the stiff wind. At night, there are showers, and the sun lifts through a haze every morning of the summer in his stomach. So we're going to talk about this poem a little bit. Again, it's an extended metaphor because through the entire piece of writing, Donald Hall continues to compare himself to one thing, and that's a bear. So there's really just one metaphor for the whole poem. My life, my personality is a bear. That's what Donald Hall is saying. And then he wants to show a lot of details and images about that. So I wanted to explain a few things that maybe you didn't quite know, like gutters of damp leaves. What is that? Gutters are those places on the edge of a street where the water flows. And in the fall, there are leaves that gather there. And parking lots, of course, are where the cars are parked. Fields of lupine. Lupine is a kind of flower, and you can see a picture of it here. I can focus in on it a little bit more. He knows there are fields of lupine and meadows of mustard and poppy. So here's a mustard meadow and a poppy meadow. He knows those things are inside his stomach. Here's another image that he had. Winds bend the flowers in combers across the valley. You might not know that word combers right there. That's probably the most unusual word in the whole poem. A comber is a wave, like a wave from the ocean that is breaking against the shore. You know how a wave comes in against the beach and it rolls over and it turns white and frothy? Those are called combers. And here he talks about the winds being like waves that are bending the flowers. And of course, birds hang on the stiff wind. There's a bird hanging in the wind. And finally, I just love this image. The sun lifts through a haze every morning of the summer in his stomach. I love this picture. It's right now, it's rainy season in summer in northern Japan. It's Suyu. And so I can see the haze of the rain every morning, although I don't see the sunshine very much. It's very interesting that all these images, all these pictures that we're talking about, are inside the stomach of this bear. Donald Hall imagines these beautiful pictures that we just looked at, all of them flowers and leaves and birds and meadows, all of it he imagines inside the stomach of this bear because the bear has been eating flowers. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause the video. Well, you're going to pause the video. I'm not going to pause it. You should hit pause. And I want you to look at this poem and see if you can pick out some images. Images are sights, things you can see, sounds, things you can hear, things you can touch, taste, and smell. Can you find any of these images in these words? If you can, and if you have copied this document onto your own computer so that you can write on it and highlight things, I challenge you to highlight some of the sights, sounds, touches, tastes, and smell that you can find here. And again, I want you to click pause and do that. So do it now. Pause. Well, I hope you did it. I hope you didn't just keep playing it. I hope you hit pause and that you tried to find sights, sounds, touch, taste, and smell. If you didn't, this is your last chance to hit pause and do it. Okay, here's what I found. Sights, these kind of orange ones, a fat animal, a bear, smiling, carries a huge stomach, fields of lupine and meadows of mustard and poppy. He encloses sunshine, birds hang in the wind, the sun lifts through a haze. All of those are sight. Did you find any sounds? I actually found a sound here in the gutters of leaves in the parking lot in October. That's a sound because you can hear the crunching of the leaves. If you walk through leaves or pick them up in your hand, you can hear them crunch. But I think it's also a smell. You know what leaves smell like in the fall? They smell really deep and dark. And how about taste? He eats flowers, eating flowers. And more sounds, yellow. Winds bend the flowers. Can you hear the wind? At night, there are showers. Can you hear the rain on the roof of a house? Those are things you can see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. It's really very good when you are reading literature, a story, a poem, or really any writing, to pay attention to the details. And in this kind of writing, the sights, sounds, touch, taste, and smell, they are all details. All of the images in the last part are inside his stomach. The wind, the valley, the rain at night, the sun in the morning. He imagines all of those inside his own stomach if he were a bear. He's a bear and he's eaten the whole world. He has a giant world of beauty inside his stomach. Now, why? Why do you think that he imagines that he is a fat bear eating flowers? Why did he choose that as the metaphor for himself? I wonder what are the qualities of his personality that this bear represents? Can you think about that? What kinds of emotions and character traits and qualities and personality does this bear represent? Why did he choose the bear? What do you think? I want you to hit pause, stop this video, and take a few minutes and type your ideas. You can type them in this box. If you have copied this document, you can do that. Or you can write them on any piece of paper. You can write them by hand with a pen, or you can type them. What qualities does the bear represent? Why did Donald Hall choose a bear? So hit pause now and type your ideas. Did you hit pause? Now's your last chance. Okay, I'm going to type, I think a bear is slow and curious and grumpy. Bears seem to be a little maybe angry. Lazy bears. They are, oh, I think they are kind of, well, I think that captures it. But that's on the outside. On the outside. On the inside, though, on the inside, I think Donald Hall chose a bear. Uh, he wanted to show joy, celebration, happiness, hunger. Oh, I should have included that in the first list. The bear is hungry to eat everything in the world, but especially beauty and beautiful things. So I think this bear that Donald Hall chose has an outside and it shows some things, but it also has an inside where it shows almost the opposite things. Colors. That's another thing that the bear shows. Okay, are you ready for the next step? Now it's your turn. You're going to try to write something yourself, okay? So it's your turn to try making a portrait of yourself as an animal. So first of all, what qualities or emotions of your own personality can you think of? What kind of outside qualities do you have? The way others see you, the way the world sees you. And what are the inside qualities or emotions that you have that are hidden? So I want you to pause the video and write two different things. What are some of the emotions or personality qualities you have that people can see on the outside? And what are some different emotions or qualities about yourself that are hidden? Okay, going to count to three, pause the video, and then type. 1, 2, 3, pause. Did you do it? Did you pause? If you didn't pause, this is one more chance to pause and type your answers. Pause. Okay. Well, for me, for Joel, that's me. On the outside, I think maybe I'm busy sometimes. Maybe I'm working. Maybe I'm, maybe I seem confident just because I'm a teacher, and so you kind of have to seem confident. Um, maybe I seem in a hurry. Probably. I seem in a hurry sometimes. But how about on the inside? Maybe on the inside, I am um, a little sad, remembering the past, thinking about people far away, worried about the future. I don't know. What are some things about me on the inside? That's what I thought of. Okay, next. Next one. Again, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, pause, and I want you to write. Now, what animals, or really any non-human living thing, it could be a plant, it could be anything you want that's not a human being, and hopefully it's alive. I think it should be alive. What animals might represent you? Those qualities that you described about yourself here, make a list. Write down a few animals. You just have to put the names of them. 1, 2, 3, pause. Did you do it? Did you write down some animals? I'm thinking spiders, um, earthworms. I don't know why earthworms. Um, a hawk in the sky. Oh, I like that one. That's all that comes to mind. Okay, next one. By the way, if you didn't do this yet, you can still pause and you can still write any of these things that you want. You can do it on any piece of paper, you can type it in your computer, or one more time, if if you happen to use this QR code and went to this same document that I'm using, then you could actually download this or you could copy this from your computer and create a new document where you could actually be typing in these same squares that I have here. Okay. So next pause for you to write about what kind of activities or actions could one of those animals be doing to show the qualities of your personality? This one takes a little bit more thinking. Choose an animal that you wrote up here. One of the animals that you wrote, not my animals, your animals. Choose one of them and write about what they could be doing that might show the qualities. And they can be doing anything. Remember that bear of Donald Hall's? He was eating flowers. Your animal can be doing anything, even if it's something that that animal doesn't really do. Okay? 1, 2, 3, pause. All right. Well, I hope you paused. If you didn't pause, you can do it now. So if I pick a spider, what could a spider be doing? Crawling, flying, spinning a web. It could be hunting. And how does it show the personality? Well, those are busy things, working, confident. I wonder how it could also show my insides. It could be thinking, remembering. Notice I don't care if I make mistakes, that's fine, but I might as well correct it since it lets me do that. It could be hiding, playing. Ooh, maybe playing a violin. That's getting silly, but why not? Playing a piano, a spider playing a piano. Actually, I love that. Remember, this is about being creative. That means you can say anything. You can come up with any idea. The crazier and the weirder idea, that's the better idea. That's a creative idea. A spider playing a piano, playing blues music on an old piano in a dark restaurant. An Italian restaurant. Okay, let's go on. Here's one for you. I'm not going to do this one, but I really challenge you right now. Take another, have some fun, you know? This should be about playing. When was the last time you drew a picture? When you were a little kid, 10 years ago, when you were a child? Maybe you draw a picture all the time. I challenge you right now to stop this video and draw a picture of the animal that you're thinking about and what that animal is doing. Okay. Now, when you get done, make sure you start the video again. Okay. I'll be waiting. 1, 2, 3, pause. All right. We're back. The next part is actually writing. Can you do it? We're going to actually try to write a little poem. You can do it. So first of all, you can use the same kind of sentences that Donald Hall used. I'm going to scroll up and show you. Remember how Donald Hall's poem went? Here is a fat animal, a bear. He walks at the edge of the city, smiling and eating flowers. We're going to use those same kind of sentences for our poem. Here is a blank, a blank. So you're going to fill in these blanks with your animal. An example. Here is a tiny creature, a spider. So you down here, you will type, here is a something, comma, a something. That's pretty easy to start with. You're just trying to name the animal that you're going to become. An extended metaphor where you are painting a picture of yourself as an animal. So pause the video and type your sentence here. 1, 2, 3, pause. Okay, hopefully you typed something here. Here is a tiny creature, a spider. All right. The next one, we're going to add an action. What could that creature, that animal that you chose, be doing? So we're going to add a verb, he or she or it, and then we're going to add a place. Where are they doing it? Here's my example. The spider, she crawls under the leaves of a giant beech tree. And I added a question. Is she busy building a nest? Try to get specific. Add some description. Don't just say she lies on the ground or it flies in the air. Instead of saying flies in the air, say this bird climbs to the highest clouds and circles around the moon, right? The leaves of a giant beech tree. So type your idea here for an action and a place for your animal. 1, 2, 3, pause. Okay, next one. Now we're going to expand on this action, elaborate on it some more, and maybe give some details. And we're going to say why. Why is the animal doing that? Here's my example, spider. Spider is collecting grains of sand. Remember, crawling under the leaves of a giant beech tree? She is collecting grains of sand because each grain has 100 mirrors where she can see the lives of all her children. So I was trying to get deep here. I was trying to get into some emotions. Because remember, the reason that I'm interested in this spider is that this spider, myself, inside, is maybe a little sad, maybe remembering the past, maybe thinking about people who are far away and worried about the future. So I put down the spider is collecting grains of sand because each grain has 100 mirrors where she can see the lives of all her children. So you try to type a description here, elaborating with more detail on the action of your animal, but even more important, why is your animal doing that? Because dot, dot, dot. And try to connect with those inner emotions, those inner qualities of yourself that you wanted to show. So, 1, 2, 3, write. All right. I hope you type something here where you could show the action and explain why the animal is doing that action. Next, okay, now we're getting somewhere. We're getting bigger here. Describe the action with images. We're going to add images, sights, sounds, touch, taste, smell. Okay, so this is the big challenging part. Can you add some images to describe these actions? Remember, I was describing the spider seeing the lives of all her children. So I'm going to describe what she sees the children doing. She sees them build homes, carefully gluing together silk threads of sunlight. So that's a sight that I wanted to add. Those children sleep on old mushrooms. I thought that was kind of a smell, the smell of old mushrooms. They feel the wet blanket, the night fall like a blanket around their shoulders. That's a touch. They feel it. And morning whisper like a whisper of breath. Her children feel the morning like a whisper of breath. That's a sound. So I've got a sound, I've got a touch, I've got a smell, I think, and I've got a sight. I don't have a, do I have a sound? I don't really have a sound, I don't think. That's okay. We don't have to have all of them. Okay, this is a big one. Now I want you to spend some time and really try to add some images of sight, sound, touch, taste, or smell to help show, describe this, this right here, what you said about this action and why the animal is doing it. So I'm going to count to 3, and then I want you to spend some time typing right here to describe those images. Ready? 1, 2, 3, pause. Well, I hope you did it. If you didn't do it, you still can pause and do it. All right. Now, finally, the end of the poem. What is the feeling, emotion, or quality of those images? Look at the images that you wrote here and ask yourself, what is that emotion? What kind of emotion are you talking about? And I looked at mine. She sees all of her children that she's not with, building their houses, sleeping on mushrooms, seeing them go to bed and wake up. And I said, she watches them with sadness and wonder. These are the emotions. She watches them with sadness and wonder, feeling the first chill of winter in the air. That idea of winter in the air, I thought was like a little bit of fear of death, thinking, oh no, I am soon going to be leaving this world. I must say goodbye to my children. Yeah, it's kind of sad. That's the picture I got. And this is the inner emotion that I wanted to put into the spider, which again is a portrait of me. So maybe you can write just a little bit right here to describe what is the feeling or emotion of those images that you just got through writing. Okay? So take a little time, write a little bit here to describe them. I'm going to have you push pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. All right, I hope you hit pause because we're done. What you got to do now is put together everything you wrote. And this is what I wrote. I put it all together. Self-portrait as a spider. Here is a tiny creature, a spider. She crawls under the leaves of a giant beech tree. Is she busy building a nest? She is collecting grains of sand because each grain has 100 mirrors where she can see the lives of all her children. She sees them build homes, carefully gluing together silk threads of sunlight. They sleep on old mushrooms. They feel the wet night fall like a blanket around their shoulders, and morning like a whisper of breath. She watches them with sadness and wonder, feeling the first chill of winter in the air. And that's how we make a poem. That's how we write a poem. I hope you were able to write a poem that you're happy with, or that you got some idea about extended metaphors, the idea of choosing one animal as a metaphor for your own personality, and then also how to make images, sights, sounds, touch, taste, and smell. And I would love it if you would click my email address and you could send me your poem. Send it to me. And if you want to comment on it, you can point out what images you included and talk about what quality or emotion you wanted to represent. Why did you choose that animal in the first place for your extended metaphor? I would love to get messages from you. That would be such a fun thing. And if you do send me a message, I will do my best to reply back with a comment for you. Okay? Thanks for coming to this session. This is an example of active learning, interactive learning at AIU, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.